Greetings, dear viewers. We're happy to welcome you at another international discussion, which is a continuation of the unprecedented conference, Global Crisis, Time for the Truth, which was held on December the 4th, 2021. The conference was put together purely by volunteers from over 180 countries. It was broadcasted to thousands of online platforms, and not just that. Just imagine, the conference was also translated, and again, purely by a huge team of volunteers into 100 languages. And thanks to that, so many people now can hear this vital information in their own language.
Yes, thank you so much, Alexei. And hello, dear viewers, and hello, dear guests. And today we will continue on covering the topics which were raised during the conference, as well sharing our impressions of these significant events. Please let me introduce our distinguished guests for today, who also took part in making the documentary movie about refugees, which was premiered at the conference Global Crisis, Time for the Truth on December 4th. And I would like to introduce Yulia Kar, a lawyer from Ukraine, Tabassum Khalid, struggling Iraqi refugee, former high school teacher from Iraq. Hello. Mikhail Sukhanov, an IT specialist from Latvia. And also we have with us Manoj Gurani, social and human rights activist, anti-trafficking specialist from India. Welcome, dear guests, and it's a pleasure to have you here with us today. And now we would like to ask our technical support to play a fragment from the documentary movie about refugees. But I highly suggest that everyone takes a look at the full film, because it contains shocking and unfortunately truthful information about refugees, migrants, and internally displaced people. Thank you.
Why is there such inhuman treatment of people? I was thinking about it and decided to figure it out.
You will never spend a month without being attacked with a xenophobic attack, because they say as a foreigners we are stealing their work. I've lost that hope of being in the great society. I don't know, I've lost that hope, because seeing the way that people are being killed, seeing the way that people are being shot in my eyes.
A child can be sold many times. I remember one day I came across the story of a girl who was, she was Turkish. She had been sold 17 times, and she had been trafficked from one country to another 17 times, and she had experienced only rape.
I also sat in many auctions as a customer, as an undercover when I was doing the undercover. We were sitting for the auctions, 9-year-old girl, 10-year-old girl, as per the demands. So the trade called the first time sex. Whenever the auctions will happen, new girls arrive in the trade, so they put the auctions. So who will bid the last demand, the money, that person only will use that victim full night for his choice.
The business that is made of spare parts, the human spare parts. How many children have been transferred from one place to another and then being operated on for some rich guys in different parts of the world to get a kidney or get something else from their bodies against their will.
Black market, traffickers, mafia is part of this economy that is ruling the world. So what else I can say? That I only see that the other possibility is to spend money instead of constructing walls like we are doing in Europe.
In our society, human life has no value. How is it possible that instead of help, people encounter violence, aggression, abuse, and slavery? This is not a migration crisis, but this is a crisis of humaneness.
People, by looking at the existing legal frame, will not ever be entitled asking for protection. Because you will ask them which country you're coming from, they would say there is no country. I had a country called X, but the country now is underwater, or I had a village and this village is being totally destroyed or disappearing.
It turns out that there are still no effective programs for the resettlement of refugees. For so many years, the United Nations has been working. For so many years, the Refugee Rights Commission has been working. So many humanitarian organizations and NGOs around the world have been working, but there are no working, established or adopted programs on how to work with these refugees. There are none. And the Refugee Commission itself admits this.
Now refugees are forced to leave their homes. They face condemnation and cruelty. They are left alone with their misfortune because of the consumerist format of society. Tomorrow's climate catastrophes could be upon us as well. Answer yourself honestly. Are you ready to face what refugees face? Are you sure you won't be in their shoes? That you and your loved ones won't have to go through what they're going through.
That was really shocking information and thoughts. And I know so many people were crying during the conference, during watching this documentary about refugees. And you know what? The saddest thing about all this is that what was shown is just a small part of all that nightmare happening in the world right now. And saying now, I mean literally now, when we talk at this discussion. The first question is for Yulia. Yulia, at the conference, Global Crisis Time for the Truth, millions of people saw the absurdity of the consumerist format of the society we live in. At the conference, there were facts, figures, and eyewitnesses. Could you please share with us what information was most memorable or possibly shocking, and what insights emerged from watching it?
Thank you, Alexei. Yes, for sure, the conference, it changes your worldview, it changes everything, because everything that we have right now in our life, it stays kind of like behind the scenes, if I can say that, because we do not really understand what is going on. We cannot understand the world that we live in right now, this consumerist format of society. And during the conference, a lot of information was voiced by the speakers, the information that was shocking. And it also gave a holistic understanding and of the fact that we're not safe. No matter what we do, we're not safe. And it concerns climate, ecology, and the format of society we live in. Because, to be honest, everything that we do right now in the consumerist format of society is we react to the consequences, but we do not work on the root of the problem. And the main thing that during the conference, the truth was voiced to entire world about the fact, about the world where we live in right now, and about the things that we need to do in order to become safe. And what was the most shocking to me, it's really hard to say, because the conference had so many facts about the climate, about the true causes of climate change, and also about the fact what is going on with the refugees, with people who really need our support and care and protection. And the fact that when we hear that there are markets where they sell people, because right now the good is actually a person, and the fact that a person can be sold 17 times, this is incredible cruelty. And this is really, this is inhumane treatment of people. This is the crisis of humanity, of humanness, because this is the crisis that is going on right now in our world. And we really need to understand that this is shocking, and it still is on my mind, as Manoj said, that because right now there are even more pedophiles in the world and stuff like that. And we really need to change this. And already now, people from more than 180 countries of the world, they raise such topics, and they do it. They change the world. They join the conferences, and they stop this negativity starting from themselves.
Yes, and it's true. It's really hard to pick any part of the conference. I totally understand you, because the information is just really eye-opening and mind-blowing, and all the information was just shown in very nice manner. So it's understandable for everyone who watches the whole conference. Every person who watches the whole conference gets the bigger picture, what's actually happening with our world. And also today we are going to also talk about this documentary movie, as we were mentioning in the beginning, about refugees, because actually all of the our guests today participated in making this movie. And maybe my first question to Mikhail. Mikhail, what actually impressed you the most when you were taking part in making this movie? You can also, of course, comment on the conference, but I would also like to hear your opinion about making the movie.
Yes, the documentary, working on such a documentary, such film is hard, because for quite a long time, and we have made a lot of different videos on different variety of topics here in Latvia, and this one is probably, it's actually the most difficult one, the hardest one. During all those 2 years that we have been taking part in the movement and in this project, in the Creative Society project, so this documentary turned out to be a very difficult one, and it took us quite a big time to do this, because we had to go through a huge amount of information, and there were huge amounts of interviews. And when I was invited to take part in this documentary, it was 1 month before the conference. By that time, already there were collected a huge amount of information, and still it was coming, and even just in a couple of weeks before the conference, we had even more reviews, even more feedback, and even more interviews, and we had to digest it somehow, to collect it, to catalog, and to mention in the scenario too. So this kind of work of a huge amount of people, when you take part in these joint calls during the night, and you understand how important and serious all this is, what we all do together. And what I remembered, for example, most of this, it wasn't included in the script itself. Since I'm a citizen of Europe, then the story about a person who has a French citizenship and who happened to be in trouble on the Bulgarian border, where he actually was in the refugee camp. This is a real story of our days. It was just recently in September this year, and after this story, you just realize that a refugee, everyone can be a refugee. No statuses, no living conditions, no, nothing like this. And if you go back to the conference itself, a global conference, global crisis time for the truth, and when you see all those, testimonies of scientists where when they, in simple words, explain what happens with the climate, you just get to realize that it can affect me. Even though I'm living in such a quiet, region as Latvia, there are no strong disasters happening here, but you just realize that it may happen, it can happen, because I've seen this. We have seen even those small sinkholes, car sinkholes in the ground, and our government believes these are just some old pipes and that needs to be changed. Well, changing the pipe is good, but if we do not look at the root of the problem, when we don't want to analyze the information, then we are engaged in something that is not exactly needed. So such is my answer.
Thank you, Mikhail. Thank you, and many thanks to the big team of volunteers who prepared the documentary. Thanks a lot. Tabassum, a question for you. We know that you watched the conference, and it would be good if you share with us impressions of the conference and what moved you the most. Also, you took part in the documentary, you were interviewed, and that's why we wonder how important you believe it is to voice stories like your one.
My story is, first of all, I'm very glad to share you this roundtable. About the documentary, it's not my story. It's thousands of stories. When the documentary, when I saw it, believe me, I forget my story because of the views that I've seen in that documentary. At the same time, it reminded me at any seconds that I experienced through the 4 days of my journey to reach the Turkish borders. When every checkpoint, when we passed through, every phase, every desert that we get through, every kilometer we walked, every night that we don't know what will happen in the morning. We don't know if we get cashed or we get bombed, or it was every second I saw it during this documentary. It was a huge effort from the volunteers. Believe me, it needs urgent solution. When refugee crisis, migration crisis in 2015, when it happened, the whole world should start at that time to find an urgent solution for it. But unfortunately, till now, we see nothing. We just, unfortunately, we see promises, talks, meetings, but nothing happened. We need all of us to cooperate and to reach an urgent solution. Thank you for this documentary. It shows the bigger problem that refugees faced before until they are facing now.
Thank you so much, Tabassum. And also, my next question goes to Manoj. You also participated, you were interviewed for this documentary movie about refugees, and we also saw you a little bit a while ago in the movie. So can you please also share, your most memorable moments, for instance, from this movie or from the conference itself?
I think it is good platform that you have Creative Society created, because many people are getting to know actual what is happening in the world. Before the 90s, the people were not aware about the ongoing things. After the 90s, this suddenly I can say that, that very important role of media is communication. According to my Indian constituents, the media is the fourth pillar of our nations. So I can cover the medias every that are means coming through the visual, and that you can say that like the news, film, videos. Film also a message. Each movie have a message. So I really thank you to everyone who ever participate in this event, and it is continuing, and many people are joining. So it is very important role of the media. So I'm very glad to also be part of this movement, and very concerned. So many people that share about their experience, their knowledge, and the ongoing things. Someone that mentioned about this many humanitarian and NGOs are working in this sector, refugees. So that whenever this criminal networks, especially this human trafficking network, human smugglers, what they target the soft targets where they feel low risk. That's why I call the sex trafficking is very profitable business of this human trafficking parts. And everyone that human trafficking is taking largest profitable profitable business in the world. So I was also that every year I read as I'm working from 17 years in this field. So I have met with many incidents. Even though I saw the market where the children, especially the sex trafficking victims, selling out openly. I'm telling about the Cox Bazar. If you Googleize everything, we will get in Google now. What is this current index report also came of UNSCR, that United Nations High Commission for Refugees report, and they are mentioning that around 83 million people are the refugees. So what do you think? The government is not aware about it? Even government have their own intelligence agencies. They know each and everything. What things are going in this country. They collect every data. Now this electronic, when the electronic devices came, medias came, now people are becoming very professional. So at the place, we don't have to be moved now. We have to be sit and click and just watch, and whatever you can act like these things happening. So I call that refugees know this. The someone also mentioned this. Everyone are the refugees. I think the Mikhail only explained. Everyone are the refugees. Okay, we have the freedoms. We are living our life, but we have to find the causes and unite the people. See, no one can fight alone and solve this problem. People have to unite and act and the sort out the problems. We have to save human life. We have to save this planet because everyone are means in the race. We will be the number one. We will the number one. Or what? We are losing our our rights. We are losing, we're just focusing on power. So many concerns are there. People have to come forward and unite. And I'm not the scholar, I'm not very that educated person, but whatever I'm sharing my life experience. Because from 17 years I'm working in this field, and now I have identified a new trend. This mafia always that believe just on profit, no humanity, nothing they have. When times comes, this mafia also will not think about to anything. They will sell their own families when the crisis come. They will go forward for their own family members. Now, what is trend? That in my country, especially in the metro cities and developing metro cities, so there is a beggar mafia arisen. So what they do, if adult beggars begs, so people don't take attention. When the same adult person, especially women, she takes an infant and begs, then people gets emotional. Oh, she is the means mother of infant and begging for her child and for her. But people don't know the child had been kidnapped and child had been bought on rent. You can Google also. Just around maybe 10 years before, so in Bangalore, in India, just a couple got to know that they were the IT professional family, both the couples. And what they do, they have one baby boy, small infant. So they hired a nanny for her for his taking care, and they both used to go to their offices. They have fixed offices hour, and so when they come back, so mother after suddenly realize her child is becoming very dull, no activities how he was that earlier doing. So she has doubt, but she realized, oh, maybe he is lazy, he is feeling sleepy. So one day, what happened after many months? One day, suddenly, they official hour. What they have the official hour? It was not that they suddenly came to home around lunch. When they didn't find their child, nanny were sitting and watching TV, and they asked, "Where is the baby?" So she said, "Oh, I given to my friend. She taken to uh, for the outreach." So they immediately that mother got very that suspicious. She immediately called the police, and police came, and police interrogated. And then during the interrogation, they found the child has been rented to beggars, and the nanny were getting 300 rupees Indian rupees per day. You can say 300 around this 3 pounds and the $4.5. So whenever the child you find with that woman beggar adult, you never find the child is conscious. Always you will find the baby boy and baby girl. Always you will find sleepy. You can check the hours also. Morning you can go, evening you can, afternoon, any time. You know what they do? They inject drugs to children. So they can't move and they can't cry, they can't feel hungry. And the adults beggar can beg much money. And these all beggars were operated by the criminal mafia. But when we inform the law enforcement agencies, so they were not, they don't have any laws. What laws they will book? Because the new thing came for them. So whenever the law and policies implements, it is you have to show lawmakers that these incidents and these crimes are going on. We have to prevent it. We have to sort out these issues. This is not the issue about a country. It is issue about the across world. So that's all.
Yes. Yes, thank you so much, Manoj, and thank you for the story. It is horrible to hear that things like this are still happening in our so-called modern world, and we definitely need to solve this immediately. And also I would maybe return to Julia, and because she also participated in making in this documentary movie, and maybe she would also like to share her impressions from making this documentary movie about refugees. Julia, can you?
Thank you so much. And this movie, this documentary film, is a huge teamwork of a lot of people. And first of all, I would like to pay my gratitude to all of them, my respect, and I take my hat off and all the words that I can say. A huge, tremendous gratitude to everyone who at least paid a second to this film, because this is not just a tremendous work, but this is a tremendous platform that united people, united specialists, as well as refugees, as well as local citizens. All these three sides were united, and we had an opportunity to communicate with them and to understand their vision of this migrational crisis. And a huge part of the all the materials collected and recorded was not a part of the movie, of the film, because we had a strict timing. But what I want to share is the fact that all people who we had a chance to communicate with, they said that we need to solve this issue. We need to bring awareness, and we need to understand that all the decisions that are being done as of now, it's not enough. And for example, people share that we applied our documents, we made everything that we were supposed to do, but we still didn't have a status of a citizen, when we don't have an opportunity to have everything needed for, just to have our basic needs covered. And when you see this, you understand that whatever you do in the consumerist format of society, if we don't change the format of society, nothing will change, because in this format, there is a fight for resources. And we understand that no one is trying to, move us away from the place where we live, especially like refugees. But we need to support those people, because they are not able to live at the place where they used to live, because it's simply not good for living right now. And there are a lot of mixed feelings about that, because first of all, I was shocked when I saw these materials, these facts that are really shocking. You see that the situation with refugees, everybody is making profit out of it. And this basically the fact that the conflicts and everything, all the schemes that they make up, they even worsen the situation. And the second thing is that when you hear the information from people that we don't mind, we would like to help the refugees, we would like to, help more people, and we can do this together because this is our common problem that we need to solve all together. But why don't they let other people in, more people in? And almost everybody was talking about the humanness. And at the background of this terrifying and shocking information and facts, you also hear the other side where people talk about the unification, where people talk about the support, mutual support, and this was very inspiring for me. And truly huge gratitude to all of the participants, because this is a huge amount of work. This is the recording, the video shooting, the interviews, watching these interviews. Every interview we had to watch and understand what this person wanted to share. And before we could structure the script, we need to go over all of the materials. And we couldn't put every person, all the participants of the interviews into the movie, but still, when watching these videos, they were so close to us, like our dear relatives. And when structuring the script, we understood that every word has to be weighted, right? And we understood as well that we can create a platform where we can discuss everything. For example, like why there are still no programs existing, programs for making the lives of refugees easier and communicating with them. And for me, it was a big opening. Like, for example, if we're talking about military programs, they have everything written down to the bits, like food, water, and stuff like that. If it's connected to the military things, everything is so weighted and everything is so created, strictly bit by bit. But I was shocked that they still don't have any program like that for the refugees, for helping them in this consumerist format of society. So basically, we admit the fact that the life of the person is important, but we don't put it at the top of everything, of our all actions, and we don't treat it as the main value. And of course, the words of the people who were not afraid to speak up, because there were situations when people were afraid to talk because they are threatened by some things. And there were some situations when people did agree to do the interview, but then they came back to us and said, please do not publish this interview because I'm afraid that it will hurt me, because people understand that we're not safe in this world. And you understand that what is this world that we created ourselves? How come we live in such a world where we have this complete violence, aggression, where not a single person is in safety due to the same reasons as make other people, such as refugees, to run away from their countries. And we're still afraid to talk about it. And that is why the conference, Global Crisis Time for the Truth, this is a unique, unprecedented conference. This is a huge, tremendous event that helped us to voice the truth openly and honestly, talk about the problems that exist in our society, and as well as the problems connected with the climate. And a lot of information and facts were given about that as well. And because right now in the world there is so much information, but we don't hear it, like they don't provide it to us. And as well, they talked about the climate cyclicity. And the more time we spend on not doing anything about that, the more time we lose. And of course, the topic of consumerist format was voiced about the ecology, about the fact that we consume and consume and consume, and we destroy our planet Earth. And of course, the topic of refugees and the consumerist format was also raised. And I think this was like the first time in the entire history of humanity when people united and voiced the truth so openly, about the refugees, about the local citizens and specialists. And I will tell for sure that this is a tremendous work. This was such an amazing team that I was a part of, and it was so great to work with all those people together, cooperate with them. There was so much information, but everything happened so quickly because you kind of felt some kind of support that you cannot see, but you can feel it, because we understand how much this is important, because this is needed not only to the people who suffered already, but it's needed for everyone, for every person on this planet, so that we could not did not become refugees, as well as help those people. And basically, we are not protected right now, not just the refugees, but also the ordinary people too. And I would like to pay my huge gratitude to every participant of the Creative Society project, as well as the people who participated in the film and put all their efforts to implement the Creative Society project and to help other people to find out about it and to inform all the humanity. And also huge gratitude to the team, to every participant of the team who created the film, because the feedback that we heard, this one of the first ones, it's incredible, because this changes people's lives, and it is a great honor for me to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yulia, for such inspiring words. Thanks a lot, and thanks a lot again to the whole team of volunteers who prepared the conference and who prepared the documentary. Thanks a lot. And now I have a question for Mikhail. Mikhail, you know that currently most people believe that migrants and refugees, they are mainly caused by wars and economic problems. But in the film and at the conference, the main focus was at the climate crisis and at the emergence of migration associated with this crisis. What would you tell from your experience, from those facts which you met preparing to the documentary and to the conference? Such a problem as climate refugees, does it really exist? If so, then how big is it? How would you explain all this to those people who still do not believe into those facts voiced at the conference?
Спасибо за вопрос. Right, thank you for the question. Indeed, when we studied this information, when we don't, study the information, but we just look at what the TV presents us, it may seem to us that indeed nothing really special happens with the climate. And as for refugees, well, those were migrants, for example, and we actually see them in Latvia now. They started to appear here. They maybe are just economic migrants who are, fleeing in pursuit of good life. But what is good life? And when we began to delve in this question and to figure out who the migrant is, who are refugees, who are internally displaced persons, and indeed, right now we have such feedback, that a lot of people are really fleeing from war at the moment, and a lot of people are displaced for the sake, for the pursuit of a better life. Someone says that my parents or my family had to move to another country to have a normal life, and despite the fact that we are in Europe, actually. So nobody, not a person alone, from what I got from what I understood from the reviews and interviews, all the people who are displaced, who moved somewhere, they never wanted to go out of their family, of their country. They have their friends there, they have life there. Their life had a rhythm that they used to live, they like it. But indeed, when your home is just bombed, you're forced to leave. It's hard. It's very scary. But returning to the question, how serious is the climate crisis? Well, wars is something that we do with our hands. We, I mean, people. And as for climate, it is something that happens without our influence. It is that cyclicity, those cyclical processes that are happening now. And they're happening throughout the entire solar system. And we cannot influence on this practically in no way. But if we do not talk about it, if we do not raise such questions, we will just continue to be amazed and surprised that those climatic events that are already happening right now, every day, and there are a number. And thanks to the conference, which we all participated together in, during 4 months of huge amounts of information that was collected about the climate change, climate events, when we see this in, shortened, compressed version in forms of videos, you realize how serious everything is with the climate. And another fact that amazed me is about the climate is when a tornado recently, as you know, Kentucky state was hit by 30 tornadoes within 24 hours, and people were left without literally anything. Their home is completely destroyed. And what I've heard, they just made some camps in some park, some tents, and they moved there, and that's it, and federal service begin to deal with it. There is no money for for their support. Only volunteers take part in fundraising and collecting funds to help these people. So not the government was the first to help people, but people themselves. And this is our consumerist format of society. We can stop wars if we realize that it is us who pull the trigger. But as for fighting the climate, we can do it only together. And as Manoj said, we really need to unite and solve this problem altogether. How will we resettle from one part of the world to another, because it will affect everyone. And this problem is critical, like the most critical one. And therefore, I'm really thankful to all the participants who actually joined this conference, and organized it, because this information is very important. It's crucial to know to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. And we really need to unite. We need to share this information as soon as possible, because if now we mostly have difficulties caused by wars, and we have economic difficulties, once the climate goes even more crazy, all this will come up together, and then there will be a complete mess. So we still have some time, and we need to use this time efficiently. And currently, many people, they really don't understand the scope of the problem of refugees, of migrants, and of internally displaced people. Such a term as climate refugee doesn't even exist. And some people, they believe that the problem is not here. But Tabassum, you are an eyewitness, yeah? So you personally experienced this, and that was a sad paragraph of your life. You described that before. From your experience, how would you explain to those people that such a problem really exists, that it is huge, and that too many people suffer, and that the urgent solution is required to be found for all that?
First of all, Yulia said many points. I want to explain some of them as a refugee. I live Refugee Day. Look, many people, they don't know what's happening with the everyday life for a refugee. How do they live? How they make their, especially for their files, how do they process them? Look, before a few years, when we started our campaign on Twitter as Iraqi refugees, and we are trying to deliver our voice to the whole world, to explain our suffering because of delaying the process of our files as other refugees around the world. As you know, there are many refugees in Indonesia, Egypt, Lebanon, in Africa. When we started, we tweeted for many accounts that belongs to the Refugee Commission, to UN, to many big organizations. We told them that since that day, we told them that if you don't facilitate these procedures, the migration will continue. Illegal migration, taking people will continue, take the illegal roads. They will go to the borders, to the sea, and we are now seeing the Iraqi refugees in the Belarus and Poland borders, and how do they die there. We see the British Canal, how people die there. In the Mediterranean Sea, that we see people die there. This because of complicated procedures, because of difficult procedures. They don't take any urgent solution for this. People die because of this. Many people, we talked to them, they said, we can't wait all these years. Iraqi refugees waited for 4 to 8 years, many files. They are waiting for 10 years. They said, we can't wait all these years. We have to reach our families. We have to reach safety. We can't wait more. So they die there. This is the first point. The other point is media uses refugees for benefits for big organizations. I'm sorry for this, for interest. They use refugees, they exploit refugees for this. Look, refugees who are registered in the Refugee Commission are not this huge number. They can make their files and process them easily, and they can reach resettlement countries easily in a small time. You promised me it's a truth of time. It's time of the truth now. We are talking about the truth, you know. But media use the internal displacement people. They use the people who are in the neighbor countries, but they are not registered in Refugee Commission. When they collect them with the real refugees who are registered in the Refugee Commission, the number will become huge. When they said 84 million refugees, they are not refugees. They are many kinds of refugees who are sitting in the borders, who are in the neighboring countries, who are not registered in the Refugee Commission. Just only the number is small, so they use it to take funds, just to make ads for that we are helping. No, people who are affected, for example, for climate change, they don't this huge efforts. We know they need assistance. They need aids in their places. That's it. They can manage them in their places. Not unlike the refugees who need urgent solution to take them from the host countries to the resettlement countries. This fact, they don't take it as it is on the press. Every press and every media, they don't take it as it is. No, they complicated it. They make everything. They mix all these kinds of refugees just to make and advertise for this organization or the other one. You know what? From this round table, I asked the whole world to cooperate with among each others, all the organizations, to solve this what can I call it, disaster. Okay, many people. Before a few days, I saw in Indonesia protesters. They saw their mouths because they are tired from talking and asking for their rights. Just they want to reach settlement countries. They can't feel safe. They can't work. They can't send their children to the schools. You know something, here in Turkey, before when the pandemic starts, the healthcare they were cut from Iraqi refugees. Now Iraqi refugees, they have no health care here in Turkey. No one knows why. It doubled their suffering. Long years of wait, long years of suffer, long years of neglect, no processing for their files, and then healthcare from the beginning of the pandemic were cut from them. Why? It's a bigger problem for refugees to explain there, but I know everything they knew, the big organizations. Unfortunately, I hope this roundtable, with the efforts of this great team to deliver the voice of the refugees around the world to the whole world to find an urgent solution.
Thank you so much, Tabassum, for this great speech, because it is your experience. You actually live this through, and you can share with people the truth, that the way it is, because like you mentioned, many times in the media, it is shown from only one perspective or from the other perspective, and things are being mixed up together. And, that's why I am so grateful that we have this Creative Society TV, where, all the volunteers, all the honest people from around the world they came together, and they are helping to voice the truth. And that's also the reason why we are doing these international discussions, that the truth can be voiced and it can go around the world. So I'm very, very grateful to the whole team, to you, dear guests, for sharing this, because it is very important for everyone to hear this truth. And now I would like to pass the word to Manoj, because when I was actually rewatching the documentary movie about the refugees, because there's so much information that there is no way you can digest all the information on watching it one time. You just have to go back to the information and dive deeper. And when I was watching it again today, you were talking about this market in, I believe it was in India and Bangladesh, where young people and children are being sold, like in the auctions. Yes, can you please tell us, your opinion? What can be done to stop this from happening?
See, that I believe that the power of the team. I will give two examples of it. You see the football teams, how they play their game, but their aim is to just goal. Anyhow, they have to goal and defeat the team. The same strategy we have to bring here. You know that whenever also you have to remember, whenever the good things happening, then their bad thing will be starts. Crime will starts. That's why I earlier mentioned human trafficking, human traffickers, and human smugglers. They choose the soft targets. Many that events, this risings about the fundraising campaigns. They means explains about the many things that they are doing, but what actual the money is invested, what they ask. So I will not blame the those these fundraising campaigns because it is the part of a crime. There are mafia also enter in humanitarian works. That's why I said whenever the good things happen, their bad things will be stopped. So there are genuine organizations and NGOs are doing fantastic jobs, and they don't have the techniques and the knowledge to expose their works because they don't have the sources, that much sources. For example, now you see the this the power of the medias. You can just I can give example. Facebooks. When Facebooks came, now what is the Facebooks? Facebooks, I can, as per my experience, I can give Facebook to credit. It's what reunites you to your society. Many people are connecting. Okay, my friend is living in there, so we can connect to the Facebook and Twitter. Now Twitter is the good platform. You can reach out your voice immediately to anyone across the world. You just have to be tagged that person whom you want to say, whom you want to mention. So media is the I say very important part. And media I includes everything, whatever it is coming through the scene and through the devices. Like we can see the movie in cinemas, and we can watch TV at home. Now mobiles are there, many devices are there. The people are getting immediately, okay, what is happening in the world. Earlier it was not that. So I want to go through on that point what Mikhail said, that the fundraisings, misuse of about the fund. But we have the wisdom, God given us the wisdom. When we invest our money in any this you can say the markets. So before investing, what we do the inquiry. Okay, I'm going to invest my money, so I will inquire obviously, and also I will verify where I am investing, it's giving me the good returns. So why we are not the same strategy we are bringing this humanitarian work? There are lots of good things also happening and so much bad things also happening. And the my second, I said that I will give the second example of voice has so much power. First I given about this the importance of the team. I give an example about the football team, how they play and what is their goal, what is their aim. And second example I will give about the voice. Voice is, I believe, 100% I believe voice has so much power. And when many voices talking about the one topic, I'm sure that world has to be aware about, because now people gathering, so many voices came. You just see many changes happen just of voices. It is my second. So now this whatever the creative society, it is creating, many voices came to a platform and they explain about their personal experience about the ongoing things, and it is reaching to many peoples. Then people are getting aware, oh my God, these things are happening. And completing how I say this two example about the voice and about the team. I also say about the product. You know, any product you can see, you will not find that product made by the single use assist. It is mixed up with many things. So like that, the many talents, they have to come forward, and they have to identify the causes and solutions after analyzing. Now things were happening, the how the you power, power, how power is misused by the people. The same thing what is happening in this sector, the refugees. Many organizations are saying that they are working on refugees crisis, but they don't have a strategy. They don't want to connect with anyone because they have fear. If they connect with other, their crime is exposing. I'm not i am not saying about the everyone. I'm saying there are, I said before that there are many good organizations also. Those are doing very that tremendous work. I can give an example about an organization. It is the US based organization, and it called the International Justice Mission. I work there in India office. Whatever I have learned in this sector, I give all honor to them because they taught me. Before 2004, I didn't know about these things. Now I'm eager to this every day. When I see the crimes is happening, when I see the problems are rising, so sometimes I get helpless because I am not united with the many. So I feel about also that when we united for a cause, and when we talk about the problems, so there the these many voices will have a different plan, because that is the human nature, that everyone has different skills. So we have to bring, that's why I given the third example about the product. When product prepared by any that producer, so it is the mix up of many assets. So we have to bring those people who really care for the cause and have heart to bring change in the society. That's why I'm saying now that the one statement I heard, that people were ready to share about their experience, but because of threat, they taken back their foot. So whoever here joined and speaking and talking, I think they care for the cause. They really care. So, and this I just explained about when we invest, and we need whenever we have the investment plan, we always think about the big returns. So before investing, we do so much inquiries. When we satisfy, then only we invest. So this product we have to be bring in a platform, like their investment is there also, the talents also is necessary, and educated person also is necessary. So many minds come together and they strategize the problems, because across the world is facing. I'm not saying about my country. My country also is happening. Many things happening. Even in the most powerful country, USA also is facing problems. We have to be identify the people who has the concern for the cause. If a person has cause for this human trafficking, refugees, disasters, many things. I can say the refugees causes are that war, civil war, human rights, violation, exploitation, environment, climate change. Many things are there. So we have to divide those people who has care for the cause and unite them with those people, and so unions become, and they raise their voice and sort out the situation. I believe this. See, I have many this incident. I am talking about how I talk about that Cox's Bazar. Cox's Bazar is in Bangladesh. You can just find this. It is the big refugee camp across the world. Just you can identify, means find out from the Google. They are human traffickers and smugglers identify the soft targets. So that's there is the open market about the means human sellings, especially this women markets, girls markets, because the mafias come, the criminals gather their means from different countries, and they participate in the auctions, and it is open auction. You will find that many this reports also came about it. The solution is only that we have to identify the people. About means we have to be sector them. We have to be, put them in a platform that if suppose I have very this the concern for human trafficking and refugees, so I have to unite with my mindset person.
Manish, thank you so much. Thank you for the excellent points. Thanks a lot. And as you told, the voice can be really powerful. And we all really need to speak up, and we need to join up all our voices, and we need to become one voice. And in this way, we will solve any situation. And coming back to the organizations and what was taught at the conference and what was taught today by Tabassum and by you, organizations and media, they in most cases manipulate information, and in such a way they play with our lives, with real lives. And of course, in such situation, a lot of people, they do not even believe that they themselves can be the change in this world when they see this unfair treatment. And I would say that too many people, they believe that any change is possible. So my question to Mikhail is, Mikhail, please, could you share with all of us and with such people in particular your personal view? What do you think? Can we make the real difference, we common people? And if so, I'm sure that you believe we can. Then how? Could you please share with us how we can make this difference?
Да, мы... Yes, sure. Indeed, right now we have heard a lot of information about mass media and how mass media manipulates society. And when we prepared material about this documentary, we had some feedback from experts and specialist experts on mass media, how they actually set up local residents towards people who were displaced or to migrants or refugees. And it is thanks to the conference, I come back to it, thanks to this joint work, we are actually able to open and reveal this truth. And we have quite a vivid example of this. We have a group of active participants here in Latvia where we conduct social surveys on the streets. And we came across two scientists on the street. They refused to give us an interview on the camera because they were quite well-known scientists. But what we have realized after talking to them, indeed, the problem is huge, that scientists are, kept silent. They just shut their mouths because all of the information they present is filtered and it doesn't reach people. And so how and what we can do in this situation? Manoj actually really answered in a great way that we need to unite experts so that they could sound voice and continue to look for their solution. But we also, as a people, can participate in this union and find these experts. And it is exactly on the platform of the Creative Society. We can actually unite all in different all caring experts so that they would have the opportunity to voice their opinion, to voice their decisions, solutions about how to get out of this crisis, because they are happening right now simultaneously, and this is noted by various experts today. So this is the solution. The goal is exactly to build the creative society on the whole planet and being united absolutely, in every potential. All people can indeed provide the floor to voice and provide opportunities for experts to unite people and to unite experts, to solve our urgent problems. So this is what I think.
Right, Mikhail. And yes, I think the unification of not just all scientific potential, but all human potential, it's right now very, very important. Like all of you were mentioning all the, different crises. The main crisis today is crisis in humaneness, from what I understand. Because, like Manoj was saying, everything is about money. People need to unite, and then everything will be so simple. All the problems we can just solve like this because we change the format from this consumerist format to creative, and all the problems suddenly are going to be solved very easily. So maybe my next question goes to again to Manoj, because we heard that you actually joined the translation team to bring information to millions of people, to talk about the truth. And what would you say, what would you wish to these people? How could you encourage them to join this project Creative Society, all these conferences, all these international discussions? What would you recommend them?
So I'm really, again, I say this, how much I praise the Creative Society. It is very less for me. because you people created a day I asked about interview, that who are the leader of your creative society. So as I am the my profession is the investigator, so I just cross. So she said, no, everyone are the leaders in this society. So I like this word, everyone are the leaders of this society, because the society is uh, and came together, and they are raising their voices. And the person said that, when many voices come together, it's become a voice, and it has so much power. And together we can. This is the main word. Together we can. A person, single person, how much he can't do, together we can. Together is, I for me personal experience, together everything is possible. I believe nothing is impossible in that world, in this world. There are the possibilities. If we gather for a cause, for the concern, definitely I believe the changes are there. I really thank to everyone, whoever participating. I thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And definitely that's great that we all are the one and we stay next to each other. And for sure, together we can. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. And the next question goes to Tabassum. Tabassum, so you watched the conference, you were interviewed for the documentary, and now you are here. And also, we know that you joined the international team of translators of the conference into Arabic language. Could you please share with us what motivated you to act? And could you please share with us the importance, in your opinion, of sharing the information about the conference with the whole world and about talking openly about all these facts?
As creative society, as this conference, I hope it will reach to every home around the world. I hope every house has a member in this creative society. I hope everyone around the world watch this conference to know, at least to take the decision to start with themselves, to build at least their neighborhood, to make it bigger and bigger, to reach everyone by cooperating. In one family, they have to cooperate to make their family bigger and make it live in a flourishing situation. How about our big world? So I think we have to start in ourselves, and we ask our friends to share us this responsibility to cooperate and work as one person to face that we are experiencing around the world in climate change, in conflicts, wars, even small things in our lives. I invite everyone who watch us to tell their friends to watch the conference and to take part in this society to make our efforts bigger and to reach everyone, to make our decision to hold this responsibility on our shoulders and reach our goals and make our objectives real. I make the truth that we are looking for.
Thank you so much, Tabassum. Thank you so much for your nice and kind words. And like you said,
So sorry, I forgot to thank the great team in Create Society and who are working in this conference. So it was great.
Thank you so much. We are so glad that you joined us, and we are very glad also for everyone who joined this project, because it's so vital. And like you said, right now we have to take the responsibility for making the creative society, because that's really the only solution we have. Like all of you already mentioned today, and it's obvious from your experience that it's the consumerist format which is causing all these problems, and the only way out is the change of this format to creative. And now my last question is going to go to Julia. And also right now there are already ongoing preparations for the international online forum, The Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live, which will be held on May 7th, 2022. And Julia, what do you think? How important is it that specialists, professionals in the field get involved in preparation and also take part, active part in this conference? What would you wish for every person on Earth today when we see how the climate is changing globally?
Thank you so much for your question. Indeed, on May the 7th, 2022, a global international online forum will take place, Global Crisis, Where People Will Want to Live. And right now, it is extremely important for every specialist who is involved in any spheres of human activity, but we talked about the issues of slavery and violence in the society today. So I would like to invite the specialists who are involved in studying these topics. And as we all know, every violence can be stopped by speaking up. So once we are raising such topics on the international level, once we share, once we give a floor to all the participants of this process, we stop the violence. So every specialist is a person who understands what is happening in his sphere of activity, and he sees where is the dead end of this consumerist format of society, because right now we have such a situation in our planet that we not just have a problem, but indeed we have a crisis. We have a crossroads of different crises, and the most horrifying one is the main one is the climatic crisis, but the most horrifying one is the crisis of humanness. And that is why every person right now can make his contribution, not just to trying to do something, but to resultively stop the violence and to change the format of society from the consumerist one to the creative one. Because whatever we do in the consumer format of society, whatever law we write, and as we can see throughout the history, it is not enough, because there is not one important point. There is no human in this process. The value of the human life. We have different statuses, right? We have the status of refugee, we have a status of internally displaced, but we don't have the status of human. And there are people who we're not sure, well, actually, whether the person will have food or shelter depends on the status. And in the creative society, there will be a status of human, and all the basic needs of every person will be covered, no matter where we will be, in which part of the planet. We will feel safe, we will be secure, because we are united and because we are humans. And I would like to compliment to the climate topic from everything that was voiced during the conference, Global Crisis Time for the Truth. This was like it struck me like a lightning when Elena Podladchikova, the specialist who studies the sun and solar activity on the planet, she said that such words, that we need to unite right now, because the next year it will be late, and it talks like really clearly to us. And that is why right now the specialists can unite on the platform of the creative society, and all people can unite, because it's the all human project, because we need to unite, and we need to understand and realize these important topics, and we need to understand and find solutions and ways out, and how we can implement all the information that we know about the creative society, and how can we inform fastly each other, because without the creative society, everything else doesn't really matter. It doesn't have any sense, doesn't make any sense, because right now every one of us can put their efforts and attention into building the creative society. And currently, it is really important to share the information about the conference, to share the information about the creative society, because whatever we plan, whatever issues we try to solve, whenever we try to plan our life, it doesn't make sense, because as Elena Podlatchikova said, that the next year it may be already late, too late. That is why right now we have a chance to change this vector of development of the society. And if you are a specialist, if you are a specialist in any sphere of human activity, or if you're homeless or jobless, it doesn't matter. We all are human beings. We all have one common grain inside of us, and we all truly need the creative society as air, because in such a formative society we can solve all the questions, all the issues, we can overcome all the crises, and we can build a flourishing world where the human life will be the highest value. Thank you so much one more time. I would like to pay my gratitude to every person on the planet Earth who pays his or her attention to the implementation of the creative society. Either you're translating or participating or gathering the information or making the interviews or being interviewed. Indeed, everything, all these things, they unite us, and this is already a part of the unification process. And when we all participate in it all together, when we prepare it together, this is already our huge contribution to the fact that we would have tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yulia. I totally agree with everything you told us. Thank you for such deep understandings. And dear friends, our today's discussion is slowly coming to an end, but we are already preparing for the next one, because the information that was presented at the conference, Global Crisis, Time for the Truth, it is literally life-saving, and every single person needs to know about that, and especially about the way out, about the only solution which is creative society. So please, everyone, join us again tomorrow, and together with colleagues, with friends and relatives. For now, I'd like to express our deepest gratitude to all our guests, and thank you so much for sharing with us your thoughts about the conference, about what's going on in our world, and about the way out from this dead-end consumerist format of our society. And of course, about the soonest building of the creative society. Also, dear viewers, we also thank you for being with us, and we would love to hear your feedback as well. You can record or write your understandings, your impressions, your questions, and send them to info@creativesociety.com email. We will share and discuss them in coming broadcasts. Also, if you would like to join a friendly international team, please let us know at the same email, info@creativesociety.com. The sooner we join up our forces, the sooner we build a better world for everyone.
Thank you so much, Alexei. Yes, and like all of you were saying, right now it is so very easy to become a hero who can actually save the world. Right now, the true hero is not the one we see on television. One man can save the world or the whole train or anything like that. It's not happening. Those are not the true heroes. The true heroes are the real people who are, who are stopping being silent, who are coming out and openly and truthfully speaking about what is actually happening. And each of us has a tremendous potential and tremendous strength. But of course, it cannot be compared with the potential of all mankind, all 8 billion people united by one goal, the desire to live and overcome all these climatic changes and issues. And not just live, but live better, live in a creative society. And in order to accomplish this goal, it is worth start acting synchronously to realize this goal. And also, I would like to say thank you to all those who participated in the preparation of the conference, who are preparing these international discussions, because there are a lot of people who are invisible to camera. You actually don't see. There's so many people behind this. There's so much, work being done. There are people making translations like today, and because of them, we can, all of us here, understand what is happening. There are people who coordinate the process. There are people who prepare the guests. There is technical support, they do broadcasting, and without them, these international discussions are not possible. So, this is such a really fulfilling to be part of this great team of people, this great team of Creative Society TV and Creative Society Project. And I think by doing this, we already are proving that the Creative Society is possible, and it's already happening, because we're actually the proof of that. So we invite you to join our friendly international team as well. And also thank you, dear guests. It was really inspirational today. And also I learned a lot from you. And thank you for, joining us today and telling us all your great examples and your experiences. We hope to see you again and see you at the next International Roundtable. Thank you so much for joining us today.